All right, here we go again. So, one of the things, I didn't even realize that it was still on. I was asking where I thought New Mexico gave up the fight on that case, the access to minors by pedophiles case that they had investigated. There's more information in that case now. Uh, so, when we look at it, what are we seeing? You're seeing that the way that New Mexico presented it, that children are not protected from pedophile access. Now, if you go back to what I've been saying over the years, again, I don't know anything about Zuckerberg. He's not my friend. I don't hang out with him. I've not seen reports where he's, you know, again, he has issues, but he doesn't have those kind of issues. But I told you years ago that they're so obsessed with pedophilizing and sexualizing people that they're risking children. I know for a fact there are people that work for Facebook that are that kind of person. I know for a fact. Had it done to me. So I know that what? That they're risking those children. And part of it is that scam that they get paid to sexualize certain people and try to get them to act out in pedophilia and then, call the missing and exploited people or whoever and then become the heroes. But like I told you, you need to know the chain of events when you get called. So again, what you're seeing is, I believe what you're seeing is children being risked. What their goals are could be payment to dirty somebody. Could be they're just psychotic, narcissistic type of people because there is a narcissist, sociopathic cult out there. To get off on the destruction of others. I believe those children were being risked. I believe some of those people, of course, it's not all of them, but some of those men or women were being sexualized to be pedophiles. And they could care less about the risk to the children. And like I said, I don't have any information to say that Zuckerberg is part of that, although I did warn them. I did warn the entire world. Now, whether those people hid what I said or not, I can't tell you because I'm also isolated by those people. So I never get into anybody's life to find out what they see. I did have a friend who was a rail yard cop, and he said, he showed me, your stuff's not coming up. Well, making millions of dollars and keeping those secrets secret about them doing that, it's worth it to them. No. People working for Zuckerberg, I don't believe with his knowledge, but could be, were operating a spycraft program to sexualize and pedophilize victims and homosexualize. And what I'm hearing is whatever the contract calls for. So if some multimillionaire or billionaire is willing to pay $1 million or more, they'll do whatever they ask, as long as they believe they can get past muster if something were to come down. And now, they're also connected to corrupt people like Mueller, Comey, Brennan, Clapper, Tenet. The guy that worked for Clinton was part of it. Thank you, sir. Jonathan Luna was a victim of something like that. So again, I don't understand how people could find John's death a tragedy and then be part of it. Maybe that's just a chicken shitism. Save themselves at all cost. So the idea is you think that children were not protected from pedophiles. That may have been by design because they're trying to pedophilize the other side. The other side of whatever that contact is. So they're giving access. And maybe in that person's feed, that's all that comes up. Right? Not condoning the action, telling you exactly what it is. Only the truth will set you free. Here, I'm over by the ark. We'll blow the shofar for our freedom. We'll power it with a shofar blast. Here, I'm going to put this one somewhere else. I got plenty of shofars on the ark. I got to pull this one out of the ark. Put it over here, and I'll put it in the Talus ark. Take it out of the Torah ark. Oh, that's pretty big. Got some nice. I was trying to figure out how to get nice, sight unseen shofars from Amazon because they just you look at the photos, it's hit and miss. So I finally lucked into a couple here. The one was a little bit off spec, so I tried to contact the owner of the company to get it. It wasn't a bad price for very big, and I tried to contact the owner of the company to get a deal on the one that was off spec to say, hey, it benefits us both that I don't send this back. Right? I don't feel like doing it, and you can save your shit, whatever it is, your shipping or. And he never got back to me. So I called Amazon. I said, look, I'm trying to get in touch with this guy. Can we send him a message? She said, yeah. And I said, well, he hasn't got back to me. And she said, just keep it. Don't worry about it. But I had already ordered like other ones. My first one's kind of mild, but it still came out well enough. But the other three were phenomenal. One's half smooth, and then half natural. And the other two here are the really large ones aren't all natural. And they're really big. Bassy horns. Or shofars. I don't think Facebook actually supports Trump. So the fact that he appointed Zuckerberg to some panel is kind of weird. But again, maybe he doesn't care. There's a lot of AI, BS AI on there against ICE and the administration. Right, but see, Adam Schiff is taken. Trump appeared to have business motive for keeping the classified documents. Jack Smith finds the special counsel's office found that Donald Trump held to the documents secret that only 6 people could legally review them, and the team believed his review or his reason was for doing so was financial gain, and that makes it the mens rea way different. The reasoning for it. So that was part of what I was looking at. In other words, he wasn't looking at them as, oh, this is secret documents and I'm doing things with secret documents. It was just something goofy. Right. But it was still, something. Right. The obstruction is what caused the issue. You have to, and again, I've sent messages on the internet, and hopefully people can see them. Maybe they'd all. When they see the subpoena, you go in, you don't have to say anything. It's no big deal. You just go in. Now, the Clintons actually said something, but I'm glad they went in. It's just stupid not to go in. Right. Just sue your attorney if he tells you not to go. Right. So the fact is, when the government starts saying you got documents, give it up. I tell you to burn everything. When you leave the government this time, Trump, burn everything. You don't need anything. What do you need it for? Like you become like a government hoarder. I burned everything when I left. Well, and again, I was connected to God and went burn everything. Right. So I didn't notice they were there, but they had access to a property above Jim's property. So they had built some new houses up on that road. I don't know what was that. What's the name of that road? It was off of York Road, but it was up in Baltimore County. It was darn. It's the one above the one where the school is. It's above the school. The next road up, I think, from the school. Hereford Road or something around north of, I think one north of Hereford Road or something like that. Or it could have been Hereford Road, I can't remember. But so what they did is they took the pickup truck or an SUV, something like that, and they put it at the end of the driveway overlooking Jim's property. I mean, and Jim's property is huge. I mean, from where we were when his wife was screaming about it, it was just, he has a pond and then some more property and property before the pond, and it's a big pond, and so but it goes like at the edge of his property, it goes up like a steeper hill. It's pretty, and not real steep, but steeper, and they're on the other side, so the road's like way over, but you can still see these houses. And most of the time, they were new houses, and when most of the time Spicer lived there were no houses. So I'm just sitting there, and all of a sudden his wife starts freaking out. So they're trying to freak me out because it was in the vicinity of burning all the documents. But I was like, no, I don't want nothing. Like I told you, I understand kind of what's happening at Kent, and I think somebody operated them also. But let me get back to this. So they got the light focused on us. These bright. They turn the brights on at the end of the parking lot at the garage, the driveway, and then leave the truck there. No, it wasn't by accident. And Jim's like, knock it off, Peg. And she's like, I don't know. She was just going off about all sorts of stuff. They broke her down. She started working for him. She probably did before. Peg was the weak link. And she lied to Jim about something which really messed the whole plan up that he had. Right? And they lied to Jim. They lied to Jim and told him it was like a deal, But I mean, not a real deal, but a deal. Like they're going to let me just retire. Right? But that was a lie. That was combined with what Peg's part was. That's what the whole thing was. Right? So that Jim would say, well, maybe it's time to move on. He wouldn't have done it if he knew what was actually happening and where I would actually have to go to. Right. His wife told him I was going back to where I lived near my family. I was going to New Jersey, and so he would have said no. Right. Oh, they're horrible, man. So again, the idea of them sexualizing somebody and risking children, that's probably what you're seeing. They'll tell you, no way, but that's what you're seeing. So yeah, they tried freaking me out when I burned all the documents. But I was like, no, I don't want anything to do with government. I don't want anything to do with war. I don't want anything to do with law enforcement. And that was probably their plan. So there could be a time, and this is weird because he's really far out there. Well, the point being that there may become a time when he deprograms from whatever's happening. Right. See, the government won't protect you if the deep state orders you done. Right. So he probably wasn't protected, and all this happened, and somebody manipulated him. So he's almost a peacenik now. And that happened to me. So again, who's actually doing it? Russians, Chinese, with go-betweens. Well, stay peaceful. Praise God in all that you do. Praise God. And of course, the cartels nowadays.